Ladies and gentlemen, do you see the number written at the top left-hand corner of the screen? It's in white. It's grayed out because of this pop-up here, but it's right over here. It says V9.9.1. That's very important because essentially it almost confirms, I can't say with 100% certainty, but you know, like there's a 99% chance that we're going to get a second mid-month update. And there are other clues that support this theory, this sort of speculation as well. So I want to get into it. I want to talk about who we could be seeing, and then I want to talk about what also this means for the next full update that's going to have maintenance and all that stuff, because of course then that's going to be delayed by at least a week or more. So let's get into it here. V9.9.1. We are in a mid-month interim, which means we're going to see another mid-month, and which means we're going to see another new uniform, at least one, and then another tier 4, because they always love to drop those tier 4s with the mid-month updates. Now, so far, if we just recap what we've gotten Black Swan, right? We've gotten Thanos, and then we've gotten the 2 seasonal uniforms, Angel and Satana. And then with the mid-month, they gave us Ebony and Thane. Now, another thing, the first sort of big thing, the major thing that supports the possibility of another mid-month update is the fact that we have not received the uniform collection for this latest update. This is probably, in my opinion, this is the weakest piece of evidence because we also didn't see a uniform collection for the January update. And I think that was the first time, or one of the first times ever, that we didn't see a uniform collection for a full update cycle, right? So you can see there we had one for What If, and then we had one for Annihilators, and we didn't have one for Madeline Pryor. Now, I know that Epic Quest was mostly new characters, not new uniforms. I realized that there weren't that many uniforms, but still, it was weird seeing a full update and mid-month pass without a uniform collection at all. And actually, at the time in January, people speculated that, hey, we're going to get another mid-month because we haven't seen the uniform collection yet. And the uniform collection is going to be Rachel and Mystique. Anyways, that obviously didn't pan out. But it is true in this case that it raises the possibility. I don't think it guarantees it, but it raises the possibility. Now, if we were to look at what a potential uniform collection could look like right now, this is all that we see, right? Because Satana and Angel cannot be part of the uniform collection. They are seasonal uniforms. Seasonal uniforms are never part of the uniform collection. So you have to take those out of the equation. When you take those out of the equation, you look at this and you're like, huh, there's a pattern here. There's a pretty obvious synergy. Now, unfortunately, there's not like a synergy between these 3 characters besides the team-up bonuses, because for all the PvE content that Ebony's used for, you know, only half of it features universal types, or doesn't at all in the case of certain ABX, ABL bosses. Then you have, you know, Thanos, who isn't part of the Black Order, so he can't fully benefit from Ebony Maw's artifact passive. It's messy. It's messy. But still, despite it being messy and despite the pieces not fitting together perfectly, we still do have a theme here, right? We have these bad guys who cycle around Thanos, who circle around Thanos, who orbit Thanos, which means that we could be seeing more Black Order members. Absolutely. So I think that's one possibility, that we see a second mid-month here, and we should be seeing sneak peeks for it in the next 3 or 4 days. I calculate that we should be seeing by Wednesday or Thursday. We should be seeing the sneak peek. So yeah, we could be seeing Proxima tier 4 to give us another support character, right? To give us maybe a break from Jean with another universal female villain. Who knows? We could be seeing a harder lean in on PvP with maybe a Black Dwarf tier 4, because I talked about in my Ebony Maw video that he actually has a useful passive for the Black Order allies. So perhaps he's getting an upgrade, and then perhaps there's a team to be made around Black Dwarf, Black Swan, and Black Ebony. No. Or maybe even Corvus, right? Corvus notoriously has the Revive, which is obviously always going to be a staple of PvP as long as he has enough other tools in his kit at his disposal. But yeah, and then of course there's Supergiant. Personally, I mean, Supergiant technically fits into the same category as Proxima, where if they're looking for a new universal female villain, they could give her a tier 4. But seeing how much this update leans towards PvP, I'm inclined to label Supergiant as the odd one out. Now, I could be completely wrong about that. I could also be completely wrong, and there's no mid-month. There's no second mid-month. But the telltale signs are there. The pieces sort of are beginning to fall into place. And what I also want to remind you guys of is when we got the second mid-month for Across the Spider-Verse. Because if you guys remember that update cycle, we got Across the Spider-Verse, which was really cool. And then the mid-month for that was not related. It was Wolverine and Sabretooth. It was Sabretooth Tier 3 and Wolverine Tier 4. I loved the update, but it had absolutely nothing to do with Across the Spider-Verse. And then we got Gwen's update. We got Gwen. Gwen was solo uniform in Tier 4 for the second mid-month of the Across the Spider-Verse stuff. And we can take a look here at this video. I playing my own content. Yeah. It's a little cooked, but basically this was my reaction to her Tier 4, right? And at the time I was like, oh no, it's mask on, that's cringe. There we go. So you can see the Future Pass only has 6 days left, which is unusual to see sneak peeks at this time. You usually only see them, you know, before the Future Pass lands, when the Future Pass has 14 days left, or when the Future Pass has about 1 day left. But this means that it's a second mid-month, and of course, if we go look in game right now, we have about 10 days left. So I imagine in 3 to 4 days, we'll be seeing another sneak peek to let us know what this second mid-month is. However, there's a possibility that it's not the Black Order. There's a possibility that it's not going to be related to, you know, whatever, the Thane, Thanos, Ebony Maw. Again, this theory here is not necessarily as good, because it doesn't fit as neatly. The pieces of the puzzle don't fit as neatly together. But if you take a look at the archive and you look at the tokens, you'll see that they posted up 2 tokens already. So they posted the 9-year anniversary token, which is like, oh yeah, like we know what that is. It's literally, it's self-explanatory. But then you go and look at the other token and you're like, what the hell is this? And it's called the 9-year anniversary Eve event token. And if you take a look at the pattern or sort of the timeline, if we're going to be seeing a sneak peek for another mid-month in 4 days, right, on the, let's say the 18th of April, then that means the update is going to land, this second mid-month is going to land on the 23rd or the 24th of April, which then puts that update into the cycle of ending at the end of April, which is the eve of the anniversary. So then you're like thinking, is this token related to this next mid-month? But then you're thinking, wait, hold up. Scratch all that. Why is there a 6? This is the part that confuses me the most. Why is that a 6? And why is that not a 9? Because it's 9-year anniversary, right? So then you're thinking, what the hell could this be? So this idea was brought to me by Eonix. He talked about Gambit. Slight, very minor spoilers for X-Men 97 if you haven't seen the show at all. X-Men 97 features Gambit. It features a whole bunch of other mutants, but it also features Gambit. Okay, that's the whole spoiler. Nothing else. Not interested in actually spoiling the show. Just if you haven't seen it at all and haven't seen any, you know, trailers for it or advertisements for it, Gambit's in the show and he's featured prominently. However, what's interesting is this is a bit more, you know, off the tracks as far as like evidence goes or speculation. But if you look at a playing card, right? If you take a look at a playing card up close, it's a little bit too up close. If you take a look at a playing card up close, like a 9, which would be like the 9-year anniversary, it's curious how the other side of the 9, when looked at face up, obviously, looks like a 6. I mean, it is a 6. It's a 9, but it looks like a 6. You feel me? And it looks curiously like the 9, but just flipped upside down. It doesn't exactly look like the 9 flipped upside down. This one has more of like a 90-degree angle on the inside, whereas this one doesn't. It's much more round on the inside. But I thought that was a really cool bit of speculation. I think this one's more far-fetched for sure. I think it's less likely. Like, what would the uniform collection look like? Thane, Thanos, Ebony, and then just Gambit in the back, like Mon Ami. It doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make any fucking sense. But I actually really like this. It's much more creative, in my opinion, and it just doesn't explain how cooked this token is. Like, okay, fine. The Gambit thing sounds wild. It sounds far-fetched. But then, what is your explanation for this token? Why did they do a 6 for the 9-year Eve? Are they going to like flip the game back 3 years? Like, what happens if we go back to 2021, guys? That was actually a really good year for the game. I'm not going to lie. And you know what? What's interesting is 2021, it wasn't the anniversary, but after that, and I think it was in May or in June in 2021, they released the Black Order update, where they gave the Black Order all of those, you know, brand new uniforms. These ones. Remember, and they did the Bohemian Rhapsody Queen cover with the faces of the Black Order. I think I still have that that icon. Maybe I do, or maybe no, I do. Yeah, this one. Yeah, that was 3 years ago. So maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I have no idea. But I wanted to bring this to you guys. I thought it was quite interesting, and also it throws a wrench in. Well, it's actually better. It's smooth. I think it smooths things out a bit more between now and the anniversary. It gives people something more to look forward to. It condenses the content a little bit, which is good, rather than the alternative. Because the alternative, I was thinking, was we have to wait 10 days to see a sneak peek. Where in this case, we're going to have to wait 4 days. We'll see a sneak peek. We'll get some content next week. And then we just have to wait a few more days after that to get more sneak peeks for the actual next full update, version 10. Version 10 is going to be lit because obviously that's the anniversary. Anywho, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think the mid-month, the second mid-month, the mid-month could be. Is it going to be as mid as this mid-month? Thanks for watching. Smash the like button if you enjoyed the content, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.